Morning, church. You can do better than that, I'll say it again. Morning, church. Steal that phrase with pride. Guys, we are on the cusp of a very exciting period in the life of the church, talking about the 40 Days of Prayer campaign. Garth has alluded to some of the pillars which are necessary to make this a success. And yes, one of those pillars are small groups. Something very close to my heart. Now, before I get into what we're going to be asking of the church, I think it's important to possibly give some context around my journey, the journey that my wife and I have been on with regards to our involvement in small groups. I think it's necessary to break a potential stigma that is associated with small groups. Certainly something that we had in our hearts and minds when we were approached about potentially hosting small groups. So I think that's really important to address. So Sabrina and I, as my wife, we had and have a heart, for connecting with people, and we were integrated into a number of initiatives within the church. So things like Feed the Need and those kinds of initiatives, which are absolutely fantastic. And they have their place with regards to fellowship and outreach and community, which is incredibly important in the country that we live in as well, and all the challenges we face. But we were looking for a deeper level of connection with individuals within the church. Okay, and we were quite skeptical about small groups because we had this idea that small groups are about these bunch of theologians who get together and who delve really deeply into the Word, which is fantastic, but we might stick out like sore thumbs because we are not theologians. Okay, we have a heart for God, 100%. We love our church family, but what can we really contribute to that forum? But we took a leap of faith. Okay, we took a leap of faith. We started attending small groups. Cut a long story short, we ended up hosting a small group. And the net outcome of this, guys, is that it's not necessarily about having the most in-depth knowledge of the Word that is there. The major component of small groups is fellowship. What does fellowship mean? Fellowship essentially has come to mean to us about investing time within your fellow Christians' lives. Their joys, their successes, their obstacles. And how do we overcome those things? How do we celebrate some of those things? Through prayer, through conversation. Small group is a microcosm of the broader community aspect that Garth is talking about. It starts within the small group. It really does. So it's been quite a journey for us to get to the point where we are now. We're getting to an established small group period in our journey. The goal of any small group is obviously to get those individuals that you've attracted to your small group out into the world to start their own small groups and let that groundswell, so to speak, continue. That's the long game. But the degree of fellowship, the degree of upliftment, of heartfelt communication that comes through in those sessions, I think it's something that, if we're honest with ourselves, at some points in our lives, whether it's celebrating successes or talking about failures and challenges, we all need. We all need. So small group is really based on two fundamental principles, and one of them is that every Christian needs a spiritual family. Now, yes, you may look to your left and your right here and say, this is my spiritual family, and it is, and it's great. But we need to be one level deeper, so to speak. We need to expose ourselves to a degree, be vulnerable to a more condensed group of individuals that we can talk to on a regular basis, that we can feel safe with on a regular basis, that we can confide in, and that we can, yes, talk about our successes, our joys, and our challenges. Every Christian also needs a laboratory for life, so to speak. The phrase one another is used over 50 times in the Bible. I wonder if God was trying to tell us something. We are stronger together. We are stronger together. Okay, we need that safe space to communicate, to be able to feel vulnerable without judgment. Incredibly important. So, as Garth mentioned, and as I've alluded to, the 40 Days of Prayer campaign focuses on community and connecting people. But through prayer. Some of us here might be open and honest and say, well, I don't even know how to pray. I feel vulnerable when I'm praying. Am I praying in the right way? The beauty about small groups as well is you have people there praying on your behalf. People who are connecting with you for your best interests through prayer. It's been immensely powerful, not only in the lives of my wife and myself, but we see it happening when at the end of every small group and we take prayer requests, the prayers from the previous week or weeks gone by have been answered to that point. Things are happening. Results are manifesting. So where do we start, guys? We're not necessarily looking for small group leaders. And to my earlier point, what I meant by that is people who are theologically inclined. We've coined the term looking for host homes. Okay, and our host is an acronym. So first of all, H, have a heart for our church family. I think that's true for pretty much everyone here. Having a heart for your church family, caring about your church family, opening up your homes. Now that can be quite an intimidating thing for a lot of us. It was certainly for Sabrina and I, but I'm standing here as proof that if you take that leap, the returns on this investment, so to speak, are incredible. S, probably one of the things we can all do. Serve some tea, serve some coffee, you know. I think a lot of people sometimes come to our house just for the snacks, but that is what it is, at least they're there. And then tell your friends, guys, it doesn't stop within the small group that you have at the moment or that you're starting. Invite as many people as you can, people within your church community that you want to reach out to. Friends, family, be aware of your community and invite them in. That is the purpose of this whole exercise, right? We need a groundswell. We want a groundswell. It's one thing impacting this church through this initiative and reaching sort of like a critical mass where we feel we're so full of the Holy Spirit we just want to burst. But guys, I don't think we're hitting all the marks there if we don't extend it beyond the church, right? So I guess, guys, for the next 6 weeks, starting in May, we're going to be looking for volunteers to open up their homes to the potential of starting small groups. If you want any more information about this, you can talk to myself. You can fill out a form in the front there. We'd love to get you started. But this is one of those things, guys, where, and sorry to be slightly direct, but I'm not talking to the person behind you. I'm not talking to the person to your left or right. I'm talking to you. Wrestle with this idea, with this notion. I doubt I've addressed every single concern in the room about this subject. Feel free to talk to myself about it, Garth, Wayne, whoever. Any fears you may have, we'll do our best to squash them. But it's about a leap of faith, guys, and I can speak from personal experience that the returns, not only to yourself, more importantly to the ones that you are talking to, beyond measure. So what is our goal for this? At the moment we have a healthy set of small groups going, but our stretch goal at the end of this campaign, for the start of the campaign, is to have roughly 25 small groups going. So time marches on, we're running out of time. We need commitment from people urgently. So please take the leap. Also, small groups will be forming a driving force of our community missions project, which I know the church will hear more about in the coming weeks as well. So small groups, guys, the point I'm trying to get across, are foundational to the success of this 40 Days of Praise initiative. Absolutely foundational. Play a part. Please get involved. Get involved. It's 6 weeks of your life, once a week. We'd appreciate more so. Think about the lives you could touch through this initiative. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you.